Hello, my name's Pete Ashby from asaleader.com. Thanks ever so much for looking at this video on two more of the 7 behaviours that we write up in Virtues and Vices of Exceptional Leaders. I'm under strict instructions to be briefer as well than on video 1, so I'll seek to be that. The first one is on the Chief Executive as controller with a respect for detail, and that's at the Virtues end of the spectrum of behaviours. And then at the Vices end of the spectrum, you'll see we have the Chief Executive as a figurehead above the detail. In thinking this one through, I very deliberately wanted to put you, the CEO, controller, at the Virtues end. Having had some years of listening to a number of different chief execs saying that you reach a stage in the maturity of your leadership when you back off and your exec team run the business and you do strategy and you don't generally do detail. And as a non-chief exec of anything other than a small team, I haven't really felt able to say, I think you're wrong. I think that's wrong, and I think actually there are 3 words I want to cite for you to argue this proposition now, and they are credit, default, swaps. Until 2007 I had no idea what they were, and after the financial crash, which we've now lived with for 5 years now, we quickly discovered that a number of the chief execs of our major banks and financial institutions also had no idea what they were, but their traders did, and tens and hundreds of billions of pounds later, we're all still paying the consequences for those chief execs who did not control their businesses. The problem in any business, if the chief exec doesn't control it, the board finds it amazingly difficult to as well. And it's not just financial services where control is important. The proposition here is if you want to be an exceptional leader, you need to be non-apologetic about needed control. We know the dangers. If control becomes obsessive and you become a micromanager and a compulsive meddler, bad, some have. They have become undue control freaks, and that's not helpful. But the danger is if you back off too much, oh, no one must call me a control freak, and you back away too much, then actually you give up too much control. This is written up in the publication. The key to control is you are selective. You drill down in detail in areas where you really want to get inside the business, and you are careful to make sure that you don't lose sight of the wood for the trees. And if you do, then you need to disengage, being careful not to step back too far. The language often tells all. My blood almost runs cold if a chief exec tells me they don't do detail, because any exceptional CEO will tell you without anyone else saying it before them, the devil is in the detail and they absolutely need to do the detail, and thank the Lord they do the detail. The strategy stuff has got in the way for many because they spent too long pretending to do strategy and they somehow felt detail is beneath them. I've also had some moments, last one on this, when some chief execs, I'm with them and they're with some of their senior managers, and you see them glazing over a bit. And I say afterwards, you know that moment when you glazed over? And they'll say, oh, you noticed it, did you, Pete? I'm sure the others didn't. And I say, people always notice when their CEO glazes over. And if you glaze over on them, wow, they will remember that moment for months and years afterwards because you weren't bothered by the stuff of their lives. In my view, exceptional CEOs do not glaze over when it gets to the detail. They respect the detail and they are not apologetic about the need to control. Second one, fascinating on silos. The key to this, in my view, is it depends what you want. If you want to run, or it's okay to run, a middle-performing organisation for whatever reason, silos on the whole, I think, are the proven best bet. Silos give you stability. They're very good on lines of accountability. You know who's doing what. They have a great deal going for them, which is why 95% of businesses plus are pretty siloized. The only debate is the degree of siloization within the business. If you want to be a top-performing business, then I think you need to aim to leave silos behind. Only you as chief executive can do that. Only you. I'm really convinced of this, and some of the most exciting work I do at the moment with teams is around creating truly unified teams. The essence of it is that you as chief executive say to your executive team, most of the way we spend our time at exec meetings doesn't help. Too much information comes to the meetings. It's dumped on the agenda. There's overload, information overload all round, and often it comes when it's almost, when it's ready to sign off. And it's brought to sort of cover people's back and get it formally approved, and they go through the motions, and they don't want really anything to be rewritten by then because it's all nearly there. You turn the whole thing on its head, and you say, look, I'm empowering you guys. You're my executive directors. You go and run these things. You bring stuff to us early on when you're not sure about the general direction. You've got 2 or 3 options in your mind, or 1 or 2, and you want to use us as an informal support group giving you advice in your own problem solving. That's such a different dynamic. That really involves trust. It also involves you as CEO alongside each of your exec directors, working through with them how they can use your team to support them do their job that bit better because of the input of the team. And it is absolutely terrific, because what it means is that your directors are required both to be more open and volunteering difficult stuff, but then know that once they've got the input, they are given more control and power themselves to get on and make it work. And they are trusted to come back to the team if it's going wrong or if it's tricky and still not sorted. The essence, the heart of it, is about you, the CEO, becoming a mentor and coach to your individual directors. Your engagement with them is what is vital to make this work. But if you give that engagement and you expect them to be more open with your team, wow, performance, you can feel it. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it in hours. To become a top performing team as an exceptional CEO, the only route to unification, in my personal view, written up in Vices and Virtues, is your role in supporting your team. Okay, there are 2 more behaviours. I really hope that helps. The 7 are covered in the publication. Only other thing to say is, if you haven't given us your name in the keep in touch box, please do. We've got some follow-ups planned as well over the next few months, and we will keep in touch with you. Thank you ever so much for your time now. Thank you.